Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Create with Brenda. I'm Brenda Hillard, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you every Saturday morning. I try to be on time at 9 o'clock, but as many of you know who have been here before, I experience internet issues, big internet issues here in rural Minnesota. So, anyway, bear with me because my projects are worth waiting for. And if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to Coffee and Create with Brenda, welcome. I'm happy you're here. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. That way you get notifications of all my upcoming um, episodes and projects. So, speaking of projects, let me show you what I have for us today. I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little card. Now, I have this one that I did first, and it was like, oh, it just seemed to blend, but yet I liked it. It was plain, and today I just want to call it Keep It Simple. And then this one, I added just that little touch of early espresso, which is that dark brown color. Stampin' Up, all of our colors have names, and so when you hear me refer to the early espresso, that's part of the neutrals family, and it's a real dark, like a cocoa. Sorry about that. I obviously. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Sorry. Anyway, um, yeah. So I'm just calling it Keep It Simple Saturday today. And this card, I was inspired by this card, or this card is a kind of a takeoff from Shannon West from Stampin' Up. She's one of our DDMs, and she did this little card, or similar to, for World Card Making Day. And of course, I kind of used her idea, but then, you know, how you change things up. So here's what I have. I am using the Harvest Meadows designer series paper. This paper is gorgeous, and you can see all the coordinating colors here. And then I'm using this little sentiment, the Hey Friend, and this adorable heart from In Symmetry. And this is a current stamp set. And then I'm going to be using one of the dies from the Stitched with Whimsy set. And you guys, you're going to love this. You know how you always love that stitched look on your cards, but you don't want to do a sewing machine? This is awesome, and I'll show you I'll show you it in use here in just a minute. And then I have the beautiful dies from the Meadow Dies, and I'm just going to be using this one flower for today. All right. One thing I should point out, this label is like one of my favorite labels. It is so beautiful. I have one cut out here in the back. Look how pretty these are with that looped edge and then the stitched frame. I just love this label, and I have sold a lot of these, this bundle. So check that out. It's the Quiet Meadows bundle with the Meadows dies. So here we go. Here's what you're going to need for pieces. Oh, and I should add you need the early espresso ink. So you're going to need a card base, and this is Crumb Cake, and it measures 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So it's just fold it in half, take our bone folder, give it a good crease. I have another piece of crumb cake that measures 3 3/4 by 5. I have a piece of early espresso that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And that's just so that when we layer these up, there's just that little bit of edge showing so that when we put it on our card, it makes it pop, okay? I have a scrap piece of crumb cake that's a 1/2 inch wide, and then a scrap piece of the early espresso, and that's for die cutting our flowers. Okay, let's get to die cutting and assembling, okay? So, I forgot a really important part too for papers with this, but I will go over that in just a second, all right? So I've got my platform 1, platform 2, well-loved cutting plate. I've got my flower die, and I'm going to cut this out twice. So I'm just going to roll this through. And I don't need the whole length of it. So if you were worried about the stem hanging off the edge of the paper, that part's not going to matter because we're going to trim that anyway. So there's one. And ooh, I don't want to get my leaf. There we go. All right. And we'll roll this through. Oops, sorry, I bumped my camera stand. All right. So let's get our little pieces off from here. And I'm just going to put this to the side because we're done with that for right now. If you don't have a die cutting machine, you should seriously consider getting one. It adds so much to your cards. And not only that, Christmas is coming and I do have gift certificates available. So put one on your wish list and let's make it happen. Here's the part that I was telling you about that I forgot. So I showed you the papers, but I didn't tell you that I cut a 1/2 inch by 12 of all 6 papers. I did that and then cut them a 1/2 inch wide by 2 3/4 inches long. I just wanted an assortment of papers, okay? The other thing that I wanted to show you, and I kind of should have done that when I had that in here, but on this 3 3/4 by 5 is what we're going to do is we're going to bring our Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine back in. And I'm just going to lay this down on here. And remember, I showed you those really cool stitched with Whimsy dies. So I'm going to use this rectangle. I'm just going to kind of center it on here. And I'm going to take my cutting plate. And again, I'm just going to roll this through. And just wait until you see how cool this die is. So here we go. Let's get this out of here again. Promise that I'm done hauling that back and forth. Look at what it does. It just gives you this stitched little frame around your cardstock. And so then when you put your card together, you have that awesome look, right? Okay, so now this part is fairly quick. Is what I'm going to do is just take my Stampin' Seal and I'm going to center this on the early espresso so that I just have that little bit of brown showing. Cool, right? And now let's lay out our pieces that we want to use on our card. I just want to make sure that I don't get the same. And it takes about 7 of these. So let's see what we've got that we don't have on there yet. How about this one on the end? I like that. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal and I'm going to go right along there and right along the bottom. Oops, I ran out. Let's grab the other one. Right along the bottom. And then I'll just do one in the middle for good measure. Now I'm going to set these on here. I've got one. And try to get them as even as you can. They don't have to be perfect. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we'll just take our little pieces here with our liquid glue. I'm going to put just some little dots on the back. You guys, it's a new year at Stampin' Up, and this year I really do want to earn the incentive trip. So if I can earn your business, oh, I'd be so happy. I cannot wait to see where I end up this year. I was very close last year, but just not close enough. So I glued down my 2 flowers, and now I just want our silhouettes of flowers, I should say. And I'm just going to cut those off right at the bottom there, and it doesn't have to be an exact cut. Let's bring in our ink. I'm going to stamp or ink up the Hey Friend from the In Symmetry. Isn't that the cutest font? And then look at this cute little heart. Boop, right there. And now let's cut it at an angle. And I'm going to give it a dimensional. More stamping, less talking. These cards go really fast. I'm not kidding. And we can put that right across here. And then for the finishing touch, you just go dimensionals on the back of this. And take off those little wax paper backings. And onto our card. Bam! Simple, quick, and simple. Keeping it simple this Saturday at Create with Brenda. I hope you loved today's project. Give it a try. Post your creations on my Facebook Create with Brenda Crafters page. I'd love to see what you make. Until next Saturday, bye-bye.